What 1 2 1 2 what 1 2 1 2 cheer. I am actually shocked to see how many of these players are available on the waiver wire. It's actually a little insane. Some of these guys need to be on a roster. You know, every single week we are here to provide you with value. Over the last week, I've been actually shooting episodes in my freaking car to provide you with value. In this episode, we are going to share with you 50 waiver wire targets, plus we're going to go over the week 20 schedule. We believe every NBA fan that plays fantasy football should also play fantasy basketball. So I'll admit, it's the fantasy playoff time, and I am listening to a lot of Wu-Tang Clan. Like, I am bumping Method Man in the whip, Raekwon in the whip, ODB in the whip, like everything that you can think of, the Jizza, the RZA, the Mizza Wizard, why? Everything, all of the things to get hyped up for the fantasy playoffs, but also to help you win your fantasy championship. And I'm just here grinding, yo. I spend hours and hours gathering this information so you don't have to do it, and in the end, leading you to your fantasy championship. Last year, we had like 44 people win chips, y'all. Come on, man. This is your year. If you haven't won a championship yet, and you've been trying to win your fantasy championship year after year, and you keep knocking on the door, but no one lets you in, I'm letting you know that we kicking the freaking door down. Like Notorious B.I.G. Kicking the door, waving the 4-4. I'm just saying. Anyway, now let me share with you the top 5 waiver wire targets you need to focus on for week 20 of the fantasy basketball season. First up is a gentleman that I would say needs no introduction, but he needs a pretty big introduction. He's not as popular as some of the other players on his team, but recently he's been catching fire, and it helps that he is in the land of the sun. I want to talk about, first up, Royce O'Neal. Royce O'Neal is just rostered in 32.5% of ESPN leagues. Over the last 7 days, he's averaging 35.3 minutes per game. On the season, just to give you some context, he's averaging 25.5 minutes per game. So a huge 10-minute jump in opportunity. He's averaging 7.5 points per game, which is okay, 5.3 rebounds, which is okay, and 4.5 assists. Very balanced, right? But check this out. On the 7th of March, I should say, he had 10 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. He's pitching in those defensive stats that we love so much. He's averaging just a little under a block a game. So for me, I'm really fascinated in having Royce O'Neal on my team. Again, with all of these guys at this point in the season, you got to love them and leave them. Don't hesitate to drop Royce O'Neal if his schedule is not working for your team. Next up, we want to take a look-see at someone who I talked about on a recent episode, one of my episodes in the whip. Also did a piece on him for NBC Sports a couple of nights ago. And I think it's somebody that in the Memphis Grizzlies, like gumbo pot of players that they're kind of stirring up with the injury to Ja Morant. We got an injury to Marcus Smart. We got, you know what I'm saying, Desmond Bane is working on coming back. Wink, wink, right? This is a guy that I think could be a difference maker down the stretch. I'm talking about Jake LaRavia. Jake LaRavia, over the last 7 days, is averaging 29 minutes per game. Come on, man. You believe that? Almost 30 minutes a game. On the season, he's averaging 16.5 minutes per game. Huge jump. Now, here's where it gets sexy. Front row at the Beyonce concert. The Beehive sexy. Check this out. 15.7 points per game over the last 7 days. Yes. 8.7 rebounds. Woo! Ric Flair voice. Assist? 2 assists a game. Comme ci, comme ça, which is, that's all right in French. Now we're going to heat it up a little bit. Come close. 1.7 steals per game, y'all. Let that sink in. I'm not done. Over the last 7 days, 1.3 blocks per game. You know what this is. Grab yourself some Jake LaRavia. Top is off. Boobies is out. Hair blowing in the wind. Convertible status. When I tell you, go grab this man. Now listen. It's a very tumultuous environment when it comes to the lineups and rotations for the Grizzlies. But you ride the hot hand, right? On the 10th of, well, this was tonight's game. He had 28 fantasy points according to these points leagues, standards. He had 37 the night before, 40. Man, come on, man. He had a 19 and 13 night on the 6th of March against Philly. He had 19 points, 13 rebounds. And I'm not done. He also chipped in 3 blocks. 3 blocks, 13 rebounds, 19 points. You could say it in any order. That is value. Do yourself a favor and do me a favor. Grab yourself some Jake LaRavia. Man, that was exciting. That is a pickup. I'm telling you, that's a gem. And chances are, especially if you're in a new league and maybe guys aren't as competitive, they not checking out the Believe in Fantasy show, like this is a guy that is widely available. He is only rostered in 2.2% of ESPN leagues. Come on, man. Get with the program. All right. Next up, the next gentleman we're going to talk about is a young man that we've talked about on the show before, right? It's somebody that we were really high on and we remain high on him. And now down the stretch, he could be a difference maker from the Utah Jazz, Keontae George. In ESPN, on ESPN, he's only rostered in 11.9% of leagues, which is despicable. Right? I'm sure it's a lot higher on Yahoo, but that is despicable. We got to get it together, ESPN. On the 9th of March, your man played 38 minutes. Yes. Scored 29 points. Okay. 5 rebounds. Let's go. 6 assists. Keep it coming. 45 fantasy points. Come on, man. Over the last 7 days, he's averaging 22 minutes per game, 14.5 points, 3 rebounds, 3.5 assists, and he is cooking with hot bacon grease. I'm just saying, you could cook your pancakes in the bacon grease. All my down south people know, man, listen, when you cook them pancakes in that daggone bacon grease, boy, it's a different vibe, and that is what Keontae George is bringing to the table. Do yourself a favor. Come on, man. Go grab yourself some Keontae George. Next up is an oldie but goodie, somebody that is likely on a roster, but I have to talk about him because there's been a little bit of a shift on his team from the Dallas Mavericks. We're talking about your man, Dan Gafford. Dan Gafford is a drafted player. He has been on rosters since the beginning of the season. There's a trade that sent him to Dallas. His fortunes have changed a little bit, and he started out really not getting the playing time in Dallas. He was getting below 15 minutes a game. It looked like it was going to be a huge decline for him in Dallas. But over the last few games, we've seen a shift. Jason Kidd is seeing something that he likes, and it helps for Dan Gafford that Derek Lively was out for personal reasons for a couple of games, I believe. So that also made room for his, for his ascension. So over the last 7 days, Dan Gafford still averaging low minutes at 19.8 minutes per game. But check this out: 11 points a game, 7 rebounds a game. Come here. 1 steal per game. Yes. And it gets better. Hold a phone. Hold the iPhone. 2 blocks per game over the last 7 days. And he's averaging 2 blocks a game on the season. So this is a great sign that these stats can be sustainable stats. I'm telling you, shut the front door. Go grab yourself some Dan Gafford. I am just saying. Next up. Ooh, man, this is my guy right here. Oh, my goodness. This is a guy I was kind of like just thinking about one of his teammates more than I was focusing on him. And over the last few days, he's really made it clear that he is the pickup. So we know that the Charlotte Hornets are banged up. LaMelo's out. It's just been an ugly situation. But there's been tons of opportunity for these difference makers in the backcourt. And here is one of those guys from the Charlotte Hornets, Vasily Micic. Vasily Micic is balling, only rostered in 4.1% of ESPN leagues over the last 7 days. He's averaged 32 minutes, which is up from 15.9 minutes per game on the season. So over the last 7, he's averaging 32 minutes. Love that. 14.8 points per game. Come on, man. 3.8 rebounds. That's okay. But the assist, oh, baby. The assist, 5.8 assists on the game. Come on, man. 1 steal per game. He is swiping. Swipe the Hamburglar. No blocks per game. But listen, this is the kind of player, like we talk about this all the time on the channel. As we go into the playoffs, right, there's always going to be a player or two that are available for free on the waiver wire that could give you that bump that you need to knock your opposition out the box. Knock them out the box, Rick. I'm just saying, this is one of those guys. So this is like a red alert. A lot of these guys are going to be red alerts. This is one. My man, I talk about the professor a lot. The other day, the professor grabbed him, and I had talked about him on one of my shows. I just, it just didn't work for my roster. But when he picked him up in like 4 leagues. It was like my phone was going on. Bing, taken, bing, taken, bing, taken. I have a unique set of skills picking up people off of the waiver wire. So grab yourself some Vasily Micic. BetOnline continues to be your #1 source for all your basketball wagering needs, including pro and college hoops throughout the year. With up-to-the-minute odds, stats, and trends, you can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contests, and all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or your mobile devices. Head to BetOnline today to become part of the team, and remember to use promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here. So I promised you 50, right? So I promised you guys 50 waiver wire targets. That was 5. So I can't go through and do, a breakdown for all the other 45, right? But every episode, like I tell you guys, every week, if you pull up, if it's your first time here, welcome. But I'm telling you that every week I do this extensive research. Like if I'm in the bathroom, I'm doing research, right? If I'm waiting in line at Kroger, sometimes I got my bag, my daggone cart in front of me, and I'm scrolling, and the lady will be like, sir, you're up now. And I'm like, oh yeah, just reading some articles, huh? Like I'm watching videos, I'm reading articles, and then I'm putting my own mind into it and grabbing stuff that I see based on the leagues that I'm in, based on what I see in our Discord community, and I provide that value. So that's how we drop in this 50 piece today. The 50 burger. We just dropped 5. Count for me because I can't do the count and tell you. Well, here we go. Let's take it. So for this lightning round, I'm not going to do yes, no, and maybe. These are just all yeses. This is the playoffs. And just a disclaimer, any of these guys can be dropped and added for another guy. Do not fall in love with these guys at this point in the season. You want to be mobile, you want to be agile, you want to be nimble, and you want to be merciless, cutthroat, fearless. Don't be afraid to drop these guys. Let's go. First up, Grady Dick. Kelly Olynyk. Naz Reid. Be careful. In week 20, the Timberwolves have 2 games. So that's a disclaimer. Be careful with Naz Reid. But Naz Reid is definitely somebody you should be looking at. Gary Trent Jr. Trey Murphy. Let's give him a yes. Yes. Grayson Allen. Denny Avdia. Trey Mann. Herb Jones. Asar Thompson. Amin Thompson. Yes. Aaron Nesmith. Marvin Bagley, the third, who is a little banged up, so be careful with Marvin Bagley. Paul Reed, yes. Isaiah Hartenstein, maybe. Kyle Anderson, remember, the Timberwolves have 2 games next week. Be very careful. Jordan Goodwin, I'm kind of a maybe on him. Santi Aldama, Grant Williams, Corey Kispert, Terrence Mann, Tumani Kamara, Matisse Thybulle, Brandon Pajimski, a.k.a. Pods. Rashawn Holmes. Ooh, very interesting. Very interesting. Andrew Wiggins. Jalen Suggs. He's a little banged up. Watch out. Be careful. Campaign. George Niang. Not sure. Sam Merrill. Dean Wade. Norman Powell. Rui Hachimura. Kevin Huerter. Malik Monk. Ayo Dosunmu. Josh Hart, Precious Achua, Malik Beasley, Duncan Robinson, Dennis Schroeder, Isaac Okoro, Karis LeVert, Jeremy Sohan, and last but not least, Bryce Sensabaugh. Let me know if that was 50. 5 from the beginning, and then I believe that was 45. I might have been 1 short. If it's 49, I'll get you on the remix on the comeback. Introducing Did It, your ultimate fantasy basketball cheat code. Imagine having a personal sports expert in your pocket, ready to dive deep into your league, analyze your waiver wire, and provide winning strategies, all through a one-on-one call. Did It is more than just advice. It's a game-changing experience, offering the unique ability to share your screen with me, Robin Marks, and literally go under the hood of your favorite fantasy team. And here's the best part. Your first call is free up to $25, which is also about 12 minutes, according to my rates. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to elevate your game. Download the Did It app today and dominate your league. So before we move on, I got to talk about the we done with the 90s. Like, come on now. Come on now. Come on now. Where they do that at? We done with the 90s? Like, and don't get me wrong, anytime something trends, I'm interested to see what it is, especially if it's basketball related, because we don't have so many trends that are relevant on social media for basketball. It's just kind of like, you know, maybe Shannon Sharp and Stephen A. Smith say something and it's like viral, Cat Williams, blah, 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 blah. But a trend where people are like, hey, there's this thing, we want to do it, and we're all going to do it, and we're going to follow the same path, like an official social media trend. I don't remember us having something like that before, right? Maybe we have, I just don't know of it, right? So I'm sitting there, and I found out about it. It kind of like snuck up on me over the last week, I think. And I saw it, and I was kind of ignoring it. I thought it was just people being people, right? People just peopling. And then, surprisingly enough, like, some people were like, trying to tear down Michael Jordan. they was like, yo, Jordan could only go right. Like, he's not all of that. Like, who did he play against? Like, who are the best shooting guards in that era? Like Reggie Miller and Clyde Drexler? Like, what you talking about? And the more I listened to it, it was just like those reasons to hate on Michael Jordan. Anything that non-Jordan fans or Jordan haters or LeBron GOAT fans, I should say, people who believe LeBron is the GOAT, which is a fair, claim, right? If you believe that, that's okay. But at the lengths they would go to try to discredit Michael Jordan's legacy, it's crazy to me. Insane, yo. Like, they was talking about he only dribbles right. He didn't play against nobody. He played against the bad boy Pistons. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was on. Like, come on, man. I mean, so with that said, like, I don't believe there are any eras in NBA that we should be like done with, right? We shouldn't be done with any of them. But like, if we were gonna be done with an era, it shouldn't be the 90s. Like, come on. Like, one could argue that the 90s and the ascension of Michael Jordan helped to lay down the foundation for what the NBA is today. Come on, man. Like, let's not just be doing stuff to be doing stuff. The second thing I want to talk about really quick on my little rant section here is I had my first loss in the playoffs this year. So I wore my fantasy season over t-shirt. You can probably see it there. Fantasy season over. So in my 14-team league, got beat. I'm pretty sure I was down by like 200 this week. Man, I wasn't even really mad about it because I suffered some crushing injuries. I had Joel Embiid on my team, and it was a top-heavy team. I had Giannis, Embiid, Fred VanVleet. Just like the team just was not deep enough to sustain an injury like Embiid, so I was kind of swinging for the fences there. And I believe it's my man Ant Tech who beat me, so I wanted to take time to just give a shout-out to Ant Tech for dominating in that first round. Wishing you best of luck. I got a bunch of leagues left. I got 2 buys coming up, so I'm going to chill. I think I'm going to go to the beach, drink some lemonade, and just watch my league mates battle each other. I got a league playoff starting this week, so I'm excited about that as well. But I did lose in one of my leagues this week, and it's pretty sad. Pretty sad. Wanted to share that with you because I wanted to let you know, like, it happens, right? Like, I don't win every single league, right? And you won't. But you're going to have years where you have good runs, and you're going to have years where you don't. The key is you just want to make sure you're having a good time. And the last thing is that Ant-Man block. Did y'all see that? Did y'all see that Ant-Man block? Your man jumped up and, like, hit his head on the goal. Like, on the backboard, I should say. And then slammed on the floor. I was like, is he okay? Like, wow. So I just wanted to take time to, like, let me know in the comments. If you guys seen that clip, did you see what Ant-Man did? I believe it was against the Pacers a couple of nights ago. Like, I saw a video of Michael Jordan getting a block like that. I haven't seen anything else like it. Just those 2 clips. One of Jordan, one of Ant-Man, like, hitting his shoulders were on the backboard, yo. Crazy. Okay, this is super important, guys. We need you to be a 2-way player. Yes, we need you to play offense and defense for fantasy basketball. How do you play offense? You play offense by subscribing to the YouTube channel. About 70% of the people who watch our videos do not subscribe. Folks, I don't typically talk about this, but we do have milestones that we're trying to reach with the channel, and our next milestone is 10,000 subscribers. We are literally like 9 subscribers away. So if you haven't, if you're watching this episode or if you're listening to the sound of my voice, go over to the YouTube channel and please subscribe. The second thing we need you to do is play defense. How do we play defense? We need you guys to listen to the audio podcast. So if you prefer to watch the podcast, I know for me sometimes I watch videos, and then I'll just listen to them because I'm driving or something. What we want you to do is actually listen to the podcast. It's very important for the channel. We do all of this content for free from the heart, but we want to make sure that we're trying to get as many eyes and ears on the content. And to do that, we need to make sure that our partnership with Believe is being fulfilled on this end. So we want you guys to actually listen to the podcast as well. So we need you to be a two-way player. Subscribe on YouTube and also listen to the podcast. And if you don't listen to podcasts, this is an excellent time to start. Now we're going to take a look at the Week 20 schedule. So for Monday, we have 6 games. Tuesday, we have 7 games. Wednesday, 9 games. Thursday, we have 6 games. Friday, we have 6 games. Saturday, 9 games. And Sunday, we have 7 games. This is a wonderful schedule for fantasy basketball. Now, let's talk about the games that people are playing. We have some 4-game teams. The 4-game teams, these are teams you really want to keep an eye on. Boston, Charlotte, Chicago, Dallas, Denver, Detroit, the Clippers, the Suns, the Trailblazers, the Spurs, the Raptors, and the Wizards all have 4 games. Then we have some teams with 3 games. Atlanta, Brooklyn, Cleveland, the Warriors, Houston, Indiana, Memphis, Miami, Milwaukee, the Pelicans, the Knicks, Thunder, Magic, Sixers, Kings, and the Utah Jazz. And also we have a few, my voice cracked on that, we got a few teams with 2 games, yeah. We had a couple teams with 2 games. We got the Lakers and, like I said earlier, the Wolves. So be very careful with this. I think for the Lakers, man, if it ain't LeBron and AD, you got to do what you got to do. I had a guy message me the other day about Austin Reeves, and he told me some of the options he had. I was like, if you in the playoffs, like, I don't want to drop Austin Reeves, but I will consider it depending on who I'm playing against. Let's talk about some back-to-backs. I'm sorry I didn't have a space there. If you guys are watching, I have a little typo here. There's not a space between Tuesday and Boston, and it looks like Tuesdays. So the Monday and Tuesday back-to-back, Boston and the Spurs. And that's not Tuesdays. That's Tuesday and Boston. So the Monday and Tuesday back-to-back, Boston and the Spurs. Tuesday, Wednesday back-to-back. Another typo. Jeez Louise. I was moving so fast today. It's Indiana, Memphis, and Sacramento. For my people who are listening, I wrote A-I-N-D, not Indiana. So it's Memphis. What am I, German? Oh, big shout out to all my German folks. Berlin, Kreuzberg, 36. Scheiße. Fick dich. Wednesday, Thursday back-to-back. Chicago, Dallas, Portland. Thursday, Friday back-to-back. Clips, Suns. Friday, Saturday back-to-back. Charlotte, Pelicans, Utah. Saturday and Sunday back-to-back. Brooklyn and Washington. Back-to-back, super important, guys. If you're grabbing players off of the waiver wire, if they have back-to-backs, that works in your favor. It's like you're getting an extra game for free and you don't have to pay for the waiver wire ad. That's why we share this information. Come on, man. And I see some folks pulled up to the live. Don't worry, guys. At the end of the episode, I'm going to come and answer the questions. So please drop your questions in the comments. Best schedules. The players with the teams with full quality games. Because every game is a quality game this week because you can stream every single day. This is a dreamland for fantasy basketball, y'all. I don't remember the last time we had it like this. For 2 weeks in a row. 4 quality games. Again, just a reminder, Boston, Charlotte, Chicago, Dallas, Denver, Detroit, Clippers, Suns, Trailblazers, Spurs, Raptors, and the Washington Wizards. So I did want to quickly answer a question or two from our Discord. Then we're going to go to our actual chat here. We got some people with some questions, so we'll keep it pushing like that. And I think we're going to just keep them all on the stream this time, man. We're going to just rock and roll and roll and rock. So let's do the Discord first. See what we got. So first up, this is TMX10. He says, Zion and Turner for Brunson and Gafford in a points league. Is it a good trade? I'm getting Brunson and Gafford. I do not think that's a great trade. I think that maybe Zion and Turner might win slightly. I like you getting Brunson, but I don't know if I would be willing to give up Zion and Turner. That's just me. I don't have my rankings in front of me, but all of my instincts tell me to remove Turner from the deal and try to see if you can sense Zion and something else. I would even be okay with Zion and Brunson straight up. This is from Corey. He says, "Can we get you in our fantasy league? Our members aren't really good or competitive and don't know how. They don't know how too much about basketball. Reed is our league manager. I know, Reed, you sent me a message. Let me check it out. And I just try, honestly, guys, like with the leagues, man, I be trying to not do too much because I'm already in a bunch of leagues. But I'm always open to take a look and see if it's, especially if the settings are a little different. That's what interests me. Like if it's like a 10 category league, if it's a league that does double doubles in points leagues, like those kind of leagues interest me. So that's kind of what I'm looking at these days. So let's go ahead and try to pull up some of these questions. This is my man Highlight Factory. What up, Highlight Factory? Jamal is in the building. Oh, I'm gonna pull this one up. Jamal says, "I have Ant-Man roster and he about to give me a heart attack in that game." Yo, he hit the floor hard, right? I was like, when he hit the ground, I was like, oh, is he good? But like to end the game on that note, I think that's wild. So I was a little worried too. This is a good one. Brian Looper says, "Anybody worth picking up that could replace Şengün?" Man, listen. You cannot replace the baby Joker, my guy. It's unfortunate, you know what I'm saying? Like, it hurts. Like, I read that it looks like it might be done. I saw a tweet about it recently. So yeah, there is no replacing the baby Joker. There is no replacing the baby Joker. Listen, folks, as we go into the playoffs, I want to make myself available for you. I am responding to every single comment for this episode. But if you have a follow-up question, please do me a big favor and just start a new thread. If we have a bunch of comments, sometimes it's just hard to keep up with them, but I try my best to answer all of them in those various threads. If you start a new thread, if it comes up as a new comment, I will respond to your question. Don't forget, play the waivers, set your lineups, and believe in fantasy. Peace.